Hello guys, hello my dear viewers. Some of you may already heard, either from me or from someone else, or maybe you even understand that from the last videos that I am going to quit Albion for now. I don't plan to create any more videos, I don't plan to create any more content, and I deemed it to be right to make a video where I will explain why I'm taking this step, why I'm not going to play the game anymore, instead of just not posting anything more to the channel. Even though I'm still going to post videos here and there, just so the channel doesn't die in case I come back to the Albion eventually in the future. Who knows? I don't expect from this video that there will be a miracles changes in the Albion because I know that I'm a rather smaller content creator, so take this just as an explanation or a rant, not like a begging to the SBI that maybe they should change this and that. Let's go talk through the points and maybe let me know in the comments if you agree or you don't agree with certain ideas. So let's talk about the points. The first major point for me as a solo player mainly is that the solo content has not been updated properly in last couple of years. Don't get me wrong, I know that most of you know me as a solo player mostly, but I used to be back then, quite few years ago, a leading tank for the fleet in Avalon roads, for example. I loved small scale content. I loved Black Zone. I loved making shenanigans with Carlon Faction Flag. I love to play Ava roads with my friends. I love to play with Guild, but this content is not that much being appreciated by the community either on Twitch or on YouTube. Like when I posted a video with group content and when I posted a solo video, we can speak about 1/10, maybe 20% of the viewers actually watching the other video. I know the editing might have been better, etc. Yapa yapa, but as I see that the community is mainly interested in the solo content, I was doing mainly the solo content, and the solo content is not satisfying for me. And as I spoke with others, with many others, currently in this state. If you look at the current state of the solo content, we can speak about the solo dungeons. They used to be dieable back then. They used to have a legitimate rewards in the solo dungeons final chest. Even the fame and the silver drops were quite according high to the risk the solo dungeon used to offer, because you could have dived this solo dungeon. You could have been dived in this solo dungeon. Now you can't because it's closing after 90 seconds. Corrupted Dungeons, 3-4 years ago, boys. It was the main mecca of 1v1 content, mainly the Slayer. I know the meta wasn't always the best, but the rewards were there, the fun in 1v1 content was there, and Corrupted Dungeons were basically untouched since I remember playing this game, which is probably 5 years. They promised us Hellgates and Corrupted Dungeon reworks maybe 6 months ago. We still don't know when they are going to be finally reworked because it was not mentioned in the previous update that these changes will apply to the Corrupted Dungeon. So I'm not going to speak about Corrupted Dungeon changes yet. Solo Duo Avaroads. If you guys remember that there were couple, I mean probably like 2 or 3 years ago, there were solo or basically duo Avaroads, like the green portals with just 2 charges, which usually led to a smaller group areas with green chests. Right now, one of the best Avalonian zones for solo players, which has the tier 8 green chests, you know, the 2, 4, and 2, are being led into by 20-man gold portals. I understand maybe the reasoning behind the changes of taking these away these duo portals just for like maybe easier navigating through the Avaroads for larger groups, but I still think that solo players should have a little bit more content just than Dead Corrupted Dungeons and Mists, which are currently dying too. Then with Mists, they are being utter dogshit in regards of fame, loot, silver drops. I mean, you can see my proposed Mist changes video, which I post, what, maybe 2 months ago. As I said, I was not expecting the developers. I was hoping, but I was not like expecting with that much hope that anything will happen. The developers will change, but for now it looks like that actually legitimately nothing is going to be changed about the Mist content. At the start, the Mists were mecha of 8-3 players, later on 8-4 of course. There was a lot of reds who just tried to get rich. In past 3 years, there was still quite a lot of reds. The meta swayed towards the mobility. The meta was pretty stale in the Mists throughout the whole Mists existence, to be fair, but right now, in the past weeks, you can go into any Twitch content creator in Albion who is streaming Mists. Ask him if he enjoys the Mists. Ask him how is the situation with the reds in the Mist. How is the situation with finding anyone of tier 6, 3, 7, 3 or A3 in the Mists. People are not playing high tier gear in the Mist because they don't see the reasoning behind the risk and reward ratio right now. As for one fair fight, you are gonna get retted or tried to get retted at least 10 times out of 11. Unfortunately, this is the way the Mists currently work. There is too many newbies in the Mist who doesn't know that Mist actually doesn't have good fame per mob. It doesn't have good rewards per silver drops from the mobs. And even the chests don't have that good rewards if you compare it to the Black Zone, which I voiced many times that I think that SBI is failing to show the newbies that this is not their best place. And that means that maybe when you are taking a fight in the corner of the Mist, there might be like a totally random 5-1 guy with no specs, with Grey Guard armor, demon helmet, one-handed mace, who is going to interrupt your fight. Even though he doesn't know what is currently happening in the zone itself. Let's speak again. Abyss. We still have Abyss as one of the highest solo rewarding PvE content in the game. And at the same time, it is one of the most safe content in the game. I would rather transport with full mobility bloodletter with 500 mil in my backpack through an Abbey from one corner to another than go through a inner circle black zone or even like total outer circle black zone at 4 a.m. European time. Because Abbey is that safe that if you don't want to die in Abbey, you don't die there. And Abbeys haven't received any major updates since the Mists were created. Open world with so many challenges and events in open world, making the open world even less appealing to a solo player, even though there were solo mist camps added into the black zone. Right now, as a solo player, during prime time, during ZVZ prime times, or even off the prime timers, you can still, of course, do the solo camps. But as soon as you want to go into higher tier zone with the higher quality, there is just too many ganking groups for you, and you might end up having a profit. But if your whole intention is not just to do the PvE, but you want to participate in any kind of PvP, what you will find is there ganking groups, small scale groups, minimum duos. There is not that many solo players in the black zone, so minimum duos or trios with healer. Try to fight it as a solo player. And as soon as you manage to kill one guy, a death skull will appear on the map. So even if you somehow manage to not get found by the ganking group in past minutes, right now they are on their way to you. So you better loot up fast, mount up, and hope that the nearest exit is close to you. I know many creators, I know that we have been asking SBI for this change for eternity, to remove the death skulls from the map when there is not an assist, or let's say less than one assist. Just to make the life of a solo player easier. I know some of you may say that, but you have exits, you have avaroads, you have smugglers then. Yes, that's good for the PvE guys. But do you guys remember that Albion is actually a full loot PvP game? That people might be actually playing this game to kill other players, to take their loot. Or even to die, but to fight till the death. So yes, if I had to do only PvE in the Black Zone, only gathering, I may die once per 2 weeks maybe. Having nice profits. But that stuff is boring for me. If I wanted to do this, I would go play fucking Minecraft. I want to play full loot PvP game. Give me the chance of getting into an unfair fight, trying to come up on top, and not dying to another gang group which is in 50 or 100 meters range away from me, just because they saw the marker on the map. Thank you. To sum up this point, I understand that MMORPG can't be solo exclusively. I even understand that the main proportion of the game should be, or the main intention of the game should be to make you find a friend or a group of friends and play with them. But not all of us have the intention to play with friends or play with group or have the possibility to play with group or have enough time to prepare group to play together. There has to be solo content, and the solo content has to receive updates which will keep the solo players in the game. Me, for example, I started this game with my IRL friend. He hated this game so much that in 2 hours he left. I like that game because at that time I thought it has enough solo content for a solo player. The solo dungeons were diveable, the corrupted dungeons were in good place. The black zone was kinda dead, but I was doing my solo dungeons there non-stop. I was diving other players, getting dough, I was ganking. Right now, if a solo player comes into the mists, he's not going to have fun. If he goes into the corrupted dungeons, he would not understand why he killed 10 people in a row and it still probably didn't pay his own gear. As I said, the conclusion is please show some love to the solo content of the game. Let us play the game solo if we want to play the game solo. Thank you. The second big point is how the game is either lacking updates for solo players, and if there are any updates for solo players, it's just trying to make the game safer and safer. If we speak, since the Steelfront took over the SBI, bought the SBI, we had only one major update which was Mists. I think it was 2022 or 23, like 3 years ago. Then we had Mist camps being added to the Black Zone, and then we had Smuggler's Den. Smuggler's Den is just making the game safer. There is no new content added apart from having a hideout in the Black Zone available to everyone. And the solo Mist camps in Black Zone are were really nice addition for the first few weeks because there was a lot of PvP happening about it right now. For now, if you go check the solo camps in the Black Zone, you will see newbie solo players or newbie duo trio players doing in the outer circle, and in the inner circle only PvE guys. No one is doing that looking for PvP. Rarely. Most of the time it's just ganking groups checking that, if anyone is there who they can kill. With that being said, I think this game is starting to cater too much towards the newer player base, too much towards the mobile player base, too much towards the players who don't want to risk their gear, which they paid for by real money. I have wrote up a couple of the changes. Maybe I forgot something, maybe you don't agree with something. It's up to you, just let me know. First of all, the potion changes. By accident, we received one of the best solo PvP updates in the game. Being able to choose what potion we want to use. It was perfect for players who wanted to express their skill. I'm going to fight someone in a black zone. I don't know if he's solo. I'm not choosing my healing potion. I will keep possibility of using an invisibility potion in case his ganking group is coming. Right now, after the potion changes, that guy is obviously baiting, and I have to decide before the fight starts. Do I go with Invis potion, poison, or a healing potion? I understand that the way it was working, it was not easiest, but I'm quite also sure that there was a different option than to make this change even worse than it was before that, because previously if you were out of the combat and you are swapping potion for potion or food for food, you had no 10 seconds cooldowns. Why the heck would SBI change it to even worse state than it was before? Safe portals, another safer way to play in the Black Zone. Don't let me wrong, I also, when I was creating content for the Black Zone, liked that I don't need to take the Invis Shrine and walk for 5 minutes or 7 or 10 minutes to get into some legitimate zone. Also, I'm not going to speak about how sometimes the save portals are just totally screwing us over. We are paying 300k to getting ported somewhere we would not even go with the Invis Shrine, but that's the RNG that happens. But this change was also another change just to make the Black Zone safer. Then you had the Smugglers Den, which is also making the Black Zone safer. You have solo dungeons and group dungeons closeable, non-diveable basically. You have scouts in front of Ava roads. You have scouts in Ava dungeons. Everything is non-bannable offense as soon as it is doing another guy. But right now, if you don't want to die in Black Zone, and if you are not actively choosing to fight other people, or if you are legitimately not auto-piloting or auto-navigating through the Black Zone, you should not die. There is just so many possible escape roads for you to take. Then, if we speak about the mists, they added Brazilian and Avarot into every single mist. You currently have 4 exits in the mists. The wisp and the chests are spawning at the corners of the mist a lot of times. You have so many options to get out of the fight. even if you actively participate in the combat, because the combat lasts only 20 seconds. That's boots, few dashes, maybe in this spot, and you are out. Abby has 12 exits, still. Or even more, I didn't even count it, but it's so many exits that I don't even have that many fingers on my hand. And still, yet it is one of the most rewarding solo PvE experience in this game. They added high tier yellow zones. There are speculations about orange zones being added where you don't lose your gear but you only lose your inventory. They added player counts in black zone. Like how much more safer this game should be. Can we just, I don't know, am I the only person who actually wants to play this game for the PvP and not have to overcome tens of obstacles just to kill one guy whose gear is usually even less worth than mine or same worth, and then run away from tens of reds or big different ganking group already closing all of the exits. Let me play the game in the way it was originally intended, as a PvP game, please. The third big talking point is the combat balance changes. How the combat balancing works in this game, how long we have to wait to changes of the meta, how long we have to wait till changes of certain weapons, and let's just structurize this argument a little bit. I will start with quite maybe even funny for some people or weird stuff, but I PM'd a couple months ago to a one developer of Albion who was asking me about what I think about the current state of Mist, etc. And I was speaking about him how Avalon Fist and Infinity Sword, sorry, at that time was super strong in the Mist, and it was super strong for a couple of months already, basically Infinity Sword since it was created. And he acted surprised. He didn't know that Avalon Fists and Infinity Sword is actually meta. His argument was that our data is showing that there is not many Infinity Sword kills other than tier 6-3 or higher. I was also surprised. I told him that it is maybe because the Infinity Sword, thanks to being the top tier fucking meta of Mist, is so expensive that it's just not cost effective to run it lower than 4-4-6-3 set. Was the reason maybe why your data is showing you weird stuff, and maybe you should actually have someone in the combat balance team who is doing the combat balancing for 1v1s, actually doing the 1v1s in Albion, or at least having someone in the NDA roundtable who is participating in the 1v1s in the set content. Because then what happens is that the meta is just not changing because the data is showing that the weapon is not strong. Couple months ago, we still were receiving patch notes to the game regarding the balance changes of the combat in the weapons. We are speaking 1v1, but also small scale, ZVZ, etc., where there was no explanation. Just randomly out of nowhere, something got buffed, something got nerfed. We didn't understand why it happened, and it was driving me crazy. I was begging SBI to at least put some explanation to their combat balance changes, so the community can understand why they are doing it, so we can maybe be in their head and realize why they are nerfing something which was already weak, or why they are buffing something which was already strong, or why they are not touching something which is top or dogshit tier meta. They finally added it after 7 years or whatever long it took for them to write the patches properly. And then you could actually see clearly that they have no idea about the changes they are doing. Be mindful that, for example, the last update when the spare, the cripple was changed, this change is legitimately here only for the 1v1. The cripple is not being used anywhere else. And it still makes no sense. Spare was never S tier. Spare was never A plus tier. And yet it received a nerf. That I understand that developers can't play this game non-stop. I understand that developers can't play every content. They can't understand every single content because the guys who are playing this game, such as me or other people, are playing this game for hours daily. And just one particular content. So we are becoming well-known professionals or whatever you call us. Let's say in the mists, you have guys who are doing Avalonos, you have guys who are doing ZVZ, etc. But there is for that NDA roundtable. For those who don't know, you have the developers, and in between developers and us as a players, there is like a veteran group. That's why some of the patch notes you have called the NDA patch notes. Because right now, about the patch notes, is discussing the NDA roundtable, which is a couple of guys where you have guys who are there already in the roundtable for years. You have a couple of newer guys, and in the roundtable you have option to choose what content you want to be discussing. And the older guys are speaking about every single fucking thing. Even though they are not playing the game anymore most of the time, or they are not playing the content they are speaking about at all. That's why when you open the next patch notes or previous patch notes, there is so many things, mainly when it comes to 1v1, which makes absolutely no sense. And I beg SBI, if anyone from SBI is actually watching this video, please reconsider the structure of the round table. Reconsider the people that you can't just have experience by ears. You have to have experience by empirical playing of the game. I will never try to say anything about ZVZ, even though I played a couple of ZVZ. But I don't have that much hours, I don't have that much understanding about ZVZ to speak about ZVZ. Why someone who is, let's say, he started to play Albion 7, 8 years ago, but he has less than 100 or 200 hours in 1v1 content, is speaking about top tier 1v1 content. These guys who are at the round table are non-arguably ruining the game for 1v1 players. Why the meta of the corrupted dungeons were not changing 3 years ago for so long? Why the mists meta are not changing for so long? Why there are weapons which are not used in any kind of small scale or ZVZ content, and they are also utter dog shit in 1v1? Is it a sandbox game where you are what you wear? But why are people forced to wear 3 weapons? Another point. One of the reasons I decided to quit, or take a big break, or whatever you call it, is that I don't like where the game is headed since Steelfront bought SBI 5 years ago, maybe less than 5 years ago. Everyone was scared, and I'm not over exaggerating. Every single person who was playing Albion for a couple of months or years was scared when Steelfront was buying SBI, because Steelfront is known Swedish gaming company, like gaming industry, which only had exclusively mobile games. And I know they bought SBI because SBI was at that time planning to do a mobile release, and they liked it. They bought it for 130 million USD, if I'm not mistaken, at least that's what the website says. And at the current value of Steelfront, officially it shows that their total stock value is $230 million. They went down in last 5 years by 92%. I'm not fucking shitting you. You can check the finance.com, you can check Google stocks. They went down by 92% in 5 years. Of course, during the COVID, a lot of gaming studios were inflated in the value of the price because everyone was at home, everyone was gaming. Then everyone took the big downfall. Most of the companies took like 30 to 50%, but 5 years, 92%. Holy fucking fuck. If you check their last 2024, I don't know, however you call it, the financial structure ending, where they explain quarter by quarter what happened, it's not looking good. And in these financial reports, they are always trying to sugarcoat it. Even with the sugarcoat, it's looking terrible. And with that being said, if I see what changes are coming to the Albion, I understand that there is absolutely no way that this game won't just become a massive whale fest. Just try to make as much content as possible, as safe as possible, so the whales continue whaling and the veterans can go fuck themselves. But you need to understand that if you want to have the whales in the game, if you want to have the whales spend money, they are not going to spend money in that game. They are not going to spend money in content where they don't have opponents for them. Where they can't just swipe their 8-4 sword into some newbie and slay them and slay them and slay them. As soon as they don't have people to slay, they are not going to swipe. There is even rumors that this game is going to come into a console. Most of you don't know that, but console players are also one of the most known swipers, apart from the mobile players who are known for their microtransaction addiction. I mean, of course, it is a good way that we will have more players, because console means that a lot of players who are not playing this game on PC or will never play this game on PC will come to play this game because they are exclusively console players. But it's just another, maybe a warning flag for me that this game is not headed towards the final stage or through the stages. I won't see it coming through if I want to stay here as a content creator. Because I would rather dip off the train while it's not going that fast rather than to dip at it when it's heading 150 kilometers towards the wall. We all heard that Robin Hankey stepped down as a CEO of the company. I'm super sorry because I think every single guy who is playing this game for a couple of years or is following the community a little bit deeper understands how much that person loved the game, how much time he spent for this game, and how much stuff in this game is in the game thanks for him. And if person such major as Robin Hankins is stepping down from the game is just another warning flag for me. Even though he said it's because of the family, even though he said that he wants to spend more time with his family, which I understand because as a CEO you have a lot of responsibilities and you have a lot of time you have to spend to work. I still don't think that it is a good sign for the company with the stuff I said before. Let's speak about the fifth point, boys. And it is the current situation on Twitch. I know it's not touching you that much, but let me at least voice my point of view, and not only my point of view but point of view I am not being scared to say that every single content creator who is doing the content creation right now on Twitch or on YouTube, creators have been begging SBI and their community managers for at least 1 year. That's as far as I can tell, because I am part of the Albion online content creator program for 1 year, to change the situation currently happening on Twitch. Check the Twitch category right now. There is so many 24/7 AFK drop farming channels. There is so many Twitch channels which have just embedded VOs and dead chat, but it shows that they have 200, 500, 1000 viewers. It's inflating the Albion online category insanely, and I don't think that's good. At the moment, while I'm creating this video, in the top 10 English streamers, you have 7 AFK channels, and they are rocking together 852 viewers at this moment. 7 AFK channels. Fourth biggest Albion online creator in English category is 24/7 Drop Farmer, who is also part of the Albion online content creator Discord. Because that's the only spot where he's active. You won't find him in the chat. You will find him in the Discord, you won't find him in his own chat. And every single one of these channels is existing purely because of one lazy stuff, and it is drops being available for everyone. I was checking other categories when I was streaming Albion. I was checking other categories when I was thinking what I'm going to do after I quit the Albion. And neither of them had drops for everyone. It was either for the biggest streamers, or you have to sign a Google form or whatever form they gave you, where you had to agree to the EULA, you had to agree to the TOS, you had to agree to some moral statements, and you had to sign it with your own sign. That's how I'm getting, let's say, right now in Delta, for which other game I'm playing, drops. Before that, I was not eligible for that. So I don't know why is it so hard for SBI to actually make something similar, why they just allowed everyone to have drops, because right now it is not fair. They are not taking that many viewers from me if I was streaming Albion, but they are taking a lot of viewers from fair content creators, such as Ekwart or Mogdan, or even Coco. And these guys are creating the content for their living. The drop farmers are creating AFK content and getting a living out of that. Sounds weird, yeah? And to top it off, there is still the legendary Svolbenji creating content on the very same account he had when he started the game years ago. Most of you know Svolbenji. For those who don't know, I will probably not even give him a clout. But tons of the people were asking me on YouTube and on Twitch lives, while there is such hatred towards a Svolbenjo in between like Albion creators, answers are simple and then not so simple. So let's start with the simple thing. He was known. Right now, luckily, he's not that popular. If you check his videos right now, he's getting like 2 to 4, 5k views with 150k subscribers, which is like a terrible numbers. But before that, he used to have like 20 to hundreds thousands of views on his videos, where he was manipulating using his own math to persuade people to not ever step outside of the yellow zone, to never go into black zone. He was being super hateful towards other content creators for absolutely no reason. And basically, he was just the typical hating persona of Albion, where all of his clout was getting by creating drama with other guys. And then creating a video that this guy is wrong, my math is actually good, and you are making billions of fame and silver in Yellowzone doing just this and this and this and that, which was already debunked a lot of times on Reddit and under his own videos before he started to moderating the comments. Then I will start with something a little bit more rough. He has, of course, his own Discord where you have to agree on some of the stuff. He has also a lot of channels where you can read some of his posts. And this guy is one of the biggest racist, homophobic, and transphobic guys I have ever seen. If you don't believe me, you can just look up on the Google. I'm not going to show it on the video because, as I said, I'm not going to give him any cloud, and I'm also just want to make this edit as easy as possible because I don't want to spend much time on Albion anymore. But there are some pictures from his Discord. Even the guys who infiltrated his Discord, who posted the regulaments and the requirements to join his Discord, that's just insane. And the biggest thing why I don't understand why this guy can play the game under his very own nickname. Luckily, for some reason, I don't know why he's not Albion online content creator. Yeah, SBI, you should already give him the content creator badge, fucking hell. But this guy, whoever is watching this video, I would say 90% of you don't know. But there was a content creator a couple years ago, the goats of the content creators of Albion, before the Albion Online was even borderline famous, Flaccid Baron. Unfortunately, the guy I'm speaking about passed away a couple years ago due to cancer. And while he was battling his cancer, him and his wife, they set up a GoFundMe where his viewers and community from Twitch, Reddit, YouTube, everywhere just tried and helped him to battle the fucking cancer, yeah? Svolbenji accused him of faking the cancer, saying that he is just making it up to make him famous and to get some extra cash. Then he changed his statement and saying that, okay, maybe he had the cancer after Flaccid died, yeah? Maybe he had the cancer, but if he already know that he's definitely going to die, why he continued to take away money from his viewers? When he know that he's going to die and he can't get cured. How on earth is this guy still able to play the fucking game under his nickname? How is this possible? What is the reasoning behind this BI? Guys, let me put it this way. Dear viewer, imagine you are owner of a company. Now imagine one of your salesmen, and a pretty good salesman because this guy was definitely netting some profit to SBI thanks to making the guys actually fight for their gears and stay in Yellowzone. But let's imagine that one of your salesmen, apart that he's racist, apart that he's homophobic, apart that he's abusing your female colleagues, also called one of your colleagues who is dying from cancer that is faking it. Are you going to keep this guy in your company? Or are you going to kick the fuck out of him? In a more crazy perspective, now imagine that you know that there was another guy who 4 years ago took away a coffee from coffee machine for free because the coffee machine was not working at the day, but it was still giving out the coffee. Someone will come to you and say that he saw this guy doing this 4 years ago. And instead of banning the racist, homophobic, transphobic, slurs, etc., guy, you are not kicking this guy, you are kicking the guy who used the coffee machine for free once 4 years ago. How insane is this? I'm speaking about Artricus, yeah? He got banned for ban evading because 4 years ago, he used the bug in Hellgates where you could pop the silverbacks, they would add you the silver, but they would not be popped. He didn't get millions of silver. He got banned there, he created new account, 4 years after, he admitted that he actually created new account 4 years before, and he got banned for ban evading. He didn't do anything majorly wrong, and they forbid him from creating new account. There we go, his YouTube and Twitch career ended. Yeah, some people might be happy about that, but if you put it into perspective that Svolbenji is creating YouTube content under the same fucking nickname, still after so many years, after so many problems with him, and SBI still haven't banned this guy, it's insane. It just shows how some people in the company are dumb when it comes to actually the being. I'm sorry, Gwina and Robin Hood. I don't mean it to you, but being actually a good managers of community, because this should not happen. And last point, thanks to the creators who reached out to me before I created this video, because I asked multiple creators what is their opinion about the game right now, what is their opinion about solo content, group content, the economic state, the cheating state, the way the game is heading, etc. I was considering if I'm going to name them, but then I decided that I will just thank them all as a pack. I'm sorry, if you guys want to be named, just let me know in the comments, I will just name you. It's up to you. But huge thanks to you, and I totally forgot one big think about the game, which I'm not big part of because I never did economics. I understand inflation is a thing, but we had the premium cost for 1 month not that long ago, like 3-4 years ago, for 8 mil for 30 days. Right now it is topping 30 mil on some servers, even above. You could have bought 8 reset for 7 millions. Right now you are buying 8 reset for 25-30 millions without consumables. Do you think the rewards went also that high? That when you opened the chest 3 years ago, you had in that chest 100k on average. And when you open it now, you have in that chest 3 to 400k on average. I don't think that happened. The next thing, SBI introduced the new AI system which is micromanaging all of the silver happening in the game in regards of the game silver. We are not speaking the player-to-player trade, yeah. We are speaking about black market. We are speaking about travel costs, global discounts, retuning costs, transmutation, etc. And right now, the tax is on 10%. Most of you don't even know when you are attuning or retuning your weapon. The extra cost being put there, the hidden tax by the silver AI, is right now at 10%. It just looks that SBI is trying to make everything to battle the inflation in terms of silver being related to the gold and to the player base itself, apart from giving a discount for a couple of days or weeks for the gold. I mean, I understand that I can't have the same prices as I had 3 years ago. Why economics in Albion are getting that tough that most of the people, unless they are doing the economics in the game, we are speaking about market flipping, crafting, transmuting, etc., need to come home from school or from work and make Albion their another work. Because right now, as a solo player who is not paying that much time in the game, who is not playing the game for 4 or 5 hours a day on average, including weekends, you can't make enough money to actually ever try the end game content of the game. And I think the rewards have to be balanced. I know that by giving us higher rewards in all of the content, it will just inflate the silver way more than it is right now. And I understand that everything SBI is right now doing is just pushing the content to make it more safe, so they have more whales coming into the game, so they have actually more swipers into the game. But we need some at least smaller changes right now, so some of the people who are playing the game and not having enough time investment can still enjoy the game. Please. And I mean, there is always possibility to take that juicy, no extra rate Chinese RMT mortgage, yeah, by the players who are radaring and cheating in the mists or doing the world boss RMT stuff. So you can take money and buy it for what 10, 20, 30% of actual value and get your 100 mil silver for I don't know what is the actual value, 3 euros, 4 euros, 5 euros, or whatever the money of that is. You can take that. Or SBI, you can actually work on a good anti-cheat, which is named Artricus. Let him back into the mist and deal with the cheaters. Because the cheaters situation was not that rampant when he was in the mists. But it's just to put a small joke in the end. So yes, with that being said, guys, I'm unfortunately taking a break from the game. I can't say for how long it will be, but Albion has lost the spark for me. And if you look at the other content creators, I mean Twitch mainly, because that's where I was the most active. Georgios Paul is not having fun in the game anymore. If you look at Mogdan, he's doing non-stop corrupted dungeons while not having fun with it, doing anything apart from Albion. If you look at Eugene, he's doing anything he can do but to stream Albion. At this current moment, he's streaming Barbon instead of Albion. If you look at the fourth biggest streamer, and 7th, and 8th, and 9th, at the moment of this video has been created, they are like the highest viewers in the Twitch are the AFK drop channels. Von, one of the biggest content creators in the game, in terms of viewership, has lost the spark way ago for the game as a solo content creator. Jack, some of you guys may know him. Holy fuck, I'm Jack, yeah? He used to be the most engaging and most fun streamer on the Twitch when he was doing his solo arcane stuff. He has absolutely no love for the game anymore. If you look at Pew Pew, he can't look more bored while playing the game. I mean, Pew Pew used to look bored, but right now he looks bored out of possibility of being bored. Like he would rather stream Minecraft to 10 people instead of having streaming Albion to a couple hundreds. If you look at smaller PvP creators such as Danit, Kotkol, and many others, they haven't streamed in last weeks or months. And we can speak about this further and further. I would even bet my last 2 cents that if Coco and Eckfart could have changed games with at least 50% of viewership they have right now, they would change it. But Albion, unfortunately, is a golden cage. It looks very nice when you're inside it, but as soon as you want to step out, you can't. That, of course, has nothing to do with the developers, but I think if the Twitch category would change, we would have way less inflated numbers than they are right now. And if you don't believe me, go ask these streamers I named personally if you catch them live and ask them if they are having fun in the Albion right now. I have asked them and I have got my answers, apart from Coco because I'm still banned there. So I know my answers. Albion used to be fun. It used to be thrilling, it used to be hardcore, it used to be very nice PvP game. It used to be painful but also rewarding. Albion used to have great updates, interesting new content coming, actually interesting new content. It used to be a game where you genuinely looking forward when you came home from school or from work to play solo or with your friends. Unfortunately, Albion for me has lost the magic it had. I hope one day I will see the spark again. I hope that one day Albion will actually, including the developers, have the love and the insensitive in the game to make the game good again. At least for solo players, yeah, because as I was speaking with some of the creators who are doing the group content mostly, they are enjoying the game, they are liking the game, and I understand that MMORPGs were always meant to be a group game, but there is a lot of solo players. There is a lot of moments where you as a solo player don't have enough time to create a group or don't have your friends online, and you are too lazy to find another friends to go out with them. So for now, I must say my farewell and all the best for the current Albion content creators, including the guys who are not streaming but just doing YouTube guides. Vigzane, Broski, you rock. Continue doing that. I really hope you will continue with your drive for a long time. And for now, all my viewers and friends, see you again soon. Your noob, Grindrr.